Hi everyone. The federal government just removed Somalia from the list of countries that were under a temporary protected status. Now this used to mean that this is a country that the United States deemed it was unsafe for people to return to. But now the federal government is saying that people who are here in the US have to leave by March 17th. Now I just spoke to members of the Somali community here in Lewiston about their reaction to this update. Here's what they had to say.
I'm very, very disappointed to hear that people who come here to seek protection and for them to deny them those protections. It's really horrible that they are tying whatever's happening in Minnesota, a few cases to a whole, to all these people. It's really inhumane. A lot of the members in this community are really afraid to speak out. If they speak out, people are actually going after them afterwards. Me, myself, after I spoke to a couple of news stations, I have received email threatening and saying, all you Somalis should die, or if you guys die, I don't even want your bodies in our funeral homes. Like, a lot of horrible things have been said, and a lot of people are afraid to speak up.
Ending the TPS program for Somalia does not align with the facts, the purpose of the program, or the basic humanitarian principle. This decision, we know, is political. It is not logical. It sends a dangerous message to even most clear humanitarian protections can be dismantled without regard for the reality. When protections are stripped from Somalis, despite undeniable conditions, the entire TPS program and the framework of it is broken. And so we are encouraging everyone who's on TPS program to immediately reach out to organizations, or if they have an immigration attorney, please consult with an immigration attorney. Do not make any decisions at this moment without consulting with an immigration attorney.
So hello guys, today we are talking about a major immigration policy change that is impacting the Somali Americans across the United States. So the Trump administration has announced that temporary protected status, the TPS, for Somali nationals will end, and those currently under this status have until March 2026 to either change their immigration status or face deportation. This decision has sparked strong reactions in the Somali American community, especially in places like Minnesota, one of their largest US hubs. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking and thank you for stopping by. If you're new to this channel, do well to like, share and subscribe to this channel. Credit goes to all the creators who will be using their videos on this episode. Without no further ado, let's dive right into this video.
Hey y'all, I've been getting a lot of calls and emails and text messages about Donald Trump's post last night about our community. I will post it right here where he is essentially claiming that he is going to terminate TPS for Somalis in Minnesota. I have been getting so many calls and text messages about it, and people are confused. What does it mean? How does it impact our community? How many people is this going to impact? How soon is it going to happen? And so I will use this video to try to break down for you as much information as I have. Okay, first, the basics. What does TPS stand for? TPS stands for Temporary Protected Status. Okay, so TPS is a federal program that allows people from certain countries to live and work here in the US legally when it is unsafe for them to return to their home countries. The US grants TPS to countries that are often facing armed conflict, natural disaster, just incredibly extraordinary things where it is hard for people to go back because they will die. They will not be able to survive those conditions, and it is meant for people to live here legally, work here legally, and be safe in this country. Okay, so Somalia is obviously one of those countries because it is going through a civil war and has been going through over the last 30-some years. So people who are here, some of them are on temporary protected status because they can't go back home for obvious reasons. Okay, now let's go back to why we're really here. It's because the President of the United States decided to make a social media post last night saying, and I'll post it right here again, that he is going to terminate TPS for Somalis in Minnesota. First and foremost, this is a federal program. He can't just end TPS for one state. That's not a policy. That's the President of the United States once again doing what he does best, playing political theater with the people of this country. Okay, second of all, most people in Minnesota who are Somali are, one, either naturalized citizens, or they are born here. There is not that many people in Minnesota who are Somali who are on TPS. Most of these people have been here for decades, have been working in this country, contributing to the economy of this country, which is thriving, if you ask me, and anybody else who reads books. In his post, the president talks about he's doing this because of fraud or terrorism. This has never been about fraud, waste, and abuse. It is not about terrorism or the safety of this country. It is about the president doing what he does best, making a certain group of people the enemy of this country. Last week, it was one group. This week, it's Somalis. And so what they really want is only white people in America. They don't want any more immigration. They think that immigrants are a threat to this country, even though they've literally built this country and continue to do so. And this country is thriving economically because of the immigrants who have made it work. And so for Somalis in Minnesota, TPS doesn't really impact a lot of people. We will get the exact numbers, but it's somewhere between like 90 to like maybe 300-400 people. There are different reports reporting different things. It is not that many people. Minnesota Somalis are either born here or are naturalized citizens. And so the question is, when the president realizes it's actually not that many people he's going to impact, what will he do?
It's that act of looking over my shoulder, which pains me because I am a United States citizen. This is my home, and I don't want to feel unsafe in my home. Mm-hmm. It's harassment disguised as law enforcement.
Are people afraid to leave their homes right now?
They are afraid, yeah. I've heard of people carrying extra identification on them, like passports.
Manta, 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 Omali waiting, manta, 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 manta.
Carmel Mall was packed on the fourth floor with people from the Somali community and people coming out in support. On Friday, President Trump said that he would immediately terminate temporary deportation protections from Somalis living in Minnesota, blaming them for fraud in Minnesota.
We're not here by accident. We're here to stay forever.
There are currently 500 Somalis in Minnesota living with these protections and a total of 700 nationwide. Many expect this to be challenged in court, but in the meantime, Somalis here say they are fearful of what's to come.
People are always going to be fearful, but we're telling our people we're greater than fear. We have resilience. We're people that are brave.
When temporary status is revoked, federal law states it can't take effect earlier than 60 days after publication of that notice, and it has to come from the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem.
What the president is doing is un-American. It's not Minnesotan.
The Protected Status Program for Somalis was launched in 1991 by President George H.W. Bush. It grants protections to eligible people who can't return to their homeland safely due to civil war or natural disasters.
What we decided to do is to bring our community in the heart of in the Somali community here in Minnesota, which is Carmel Mall, to show that, you know, our neighbors are with us, Minnesotans are with us, and we're all together in this fight.
There's no word yet on if or when the removal of temporary status will take place, but experts say if someone is under temporary protected status from Somalia, to check with them on legal counsel to see what their options are.
In this country, we do not blame the lawlessness of an individual on a whole community. What we also know is that there is not a single evidence that the president or his coolies have put forth that there are any single resource from taxpayers in Minnesota that has gone to aid and abet terrorism. That language is dangerous. That language puts the lives of Somalis not only in Minnesota, but across the country in danger. And if the president believed that and he had evidence, he would take people to court. So we are sick and tired of the president waking up one day and deciding to put forth falsehoods and demonize whole communities, while the ignorant people that support him then take the lies that he's spreading and use it as a fact. We've seen it during the campaign where he said Asians were eating cats and dogs. We've seen his vice president repeat those lies. We've seen the media run it as a headline as if it was a fact. That is shameful. That is shameful. That is ignorant. It makes us look like a stupid nation that does not believe in truth but traffics in lies. It makes the world mock us, and we are better than that. We are better than that as Americans.
Hello everyone, Senator Omar Fateh here. I'm in the Cedar Riverside neighborhood, and I wanted to speak to you about what we've been seeing here in the Twin Cities area, as well as throughout the state of Minnesota. President Trump has the full force of the federal government targeting the Somali community. What we've been seeing is that our neighbors have been detained, at times even American citizens, and families have been torn apart. But I want to let y'all know that it does not have to be this way, and that you do have rights, and I want to run them by you. First, when ICE or an ICE agent comes to your door, you have the right not to open and to request information. You can ask for a judicial warrant that's signed by a judge. You have to have a judicial warrant and not an administrative warrant. We saw that play out earlier today in the F building, in the towers behind me, in which an ICE agent came saying that they had a warrant to search the premises. We had Representative Mahmoud Noor, who did a great job in speaking with them and saying that, well, not so fast. You need to have a judicial warrant and not an administrative warrant. And of course, they tried to play dumb and act like they didn't know the rules. But in the end, they left the scene. And so that's what's needed right now. We need people that know their rights. We're having a lot of the boots on the ground organizations do a lot of great work. Folks like MIRAC and Care Minnesota and folks like that have been providing know your rights training, legal counseling and things like that. I'm going to provide a link in this caption for the link tree with a whole host of information about how you can get involved. I had a lot of folks reaching out asking how they can help best support their neighbors, and you can do so in a number of ways. Click on the link tree, get involved with those organizations. I know a lot of neighborhoods and a lot of folks have been forming group chats and on WhatsApp and Signal and things like that, letting folks know where ICE is and how to best support each other and things like that. So now is the time to get involved. In times like this, it's going to take an all-hands-on-deck approach, and so please tap in below.
So the post regarding the whole TPS thing is so laughable. If one were to, federally impose dismantling TPS, it would not be, in Minnesota. It would take place in all 50 states. That's one. Secondly, the statement was so laughable because a lot of Somalis here in Minnesota are U.S. citizens. Myself included, like I am a U.S. citizen, and I'm not sorry about that. And also, if these people really want us to go back to Somalia, a country that many of us have never set foot into, be my guest. I would love to be somewhere warm and sunny, dipping my feet into the sand, drinking some really cool drinks, than to be in cold, gloomy Minnesota. Because in Minnesota, at this, in this time of year, it gets cold, it gets gloomy, and have you seen the weather outside today? It was yucky. Like when I stepped foot outside earlier today, it was so wet and cold, and the sky looked sad. I was like, dang, it looks so sad. In Somalia, it's sunny all year round, and we love sunny weather. And another thing, I'm not entirely bothered with these racists online because you only see this online. I have never had an actual racist come up to me telling me like, so when are you going back to Somalia? Go back to your country. Nah. If they were to say that, I would have been like, go back to my country? Okay. That's not a problem. But I'm going to ask you one thing. Do you have the money to pay for my ticket? And then I'll just wait for their reaction.
And it made me so happy seeing all kinds of videos of people standing up for us Minnesota Somalis, telling us how kind and generous we are, because that's who we are. You know, we are really, sweet, kind, and hospitable people. Don't let like a small group of troublemakers define the entire Somali community, because not all of us are fraudsters. Not all of us are like rude or like, you know what I mean? Like, I have no other words. And I remember in high school, I had a friend who told me, Layla, I love Somali people. You guys are awesome. And I'm like, wow, you really think so? And she's like, yeah, you guys are awesome. Like, you guys are just not afraid to be yourselves. You guys stand up for what's right and all that stuff. Like, you guys are tough. And I'm like, heck yeah, we are. So my advice to you guys would be to not focus completely on the negatives. Focus on the positives about the Somali community. One thing about us, we are kind and we are hospitable. Like, if you were to ask me, like, Layla, I need your help with something, I'll be like, yeah, bet. Like, what do you need help with? Like, I was taught to be there for others. And a lot of Somalis are like that too. Trust me on that. Like, the reason why these people, say so much crap about us is because they're not us. It's all from jealousy, right? Like, only a jealous person would speak so much about the people that they are jealous of. Does that make sense? And if anyone wants to be racist, I'll just be like, okay, well, they're coming home to peanut butter and jelly. I'm coming home to baris, pasta, and maloah, and anjera.
Welcome back, guys. So first, let's break down what TPS actually is. TPS, which is Temporary Protected Status, is a designation granted to people from countries considered unsafe due to war, famine, natural disaster, or other extraordinary condition. It allows qualifying individuals to legally live and work in the US and protected from deportation temporarily. Somalis were first given TPS in 1991 because of decades of conflicts and instability. But recently, the Homeland Security announced that Somalia no longer meets the criteria for TPS because conditions are supposedly improved. Although many human rights groups and advocates disagree. So under this termination, Somali TPS holders must either adjust their status through another legal immigration pathway, or they leave voluntarily by March 17 or risk deportation. So many Somalis are shocked and upset that the decision will tear so many families apart. Some community members say enforcement actions have already begun with ICE activity reported in neighborhoods, creating fear and stress. In Minnesota, where there are many Somalis population, people are saying this decision threatens their businesses, family, and future. And local political leaders have spoken out against it. So what are your thoughts on this video? Feel free to drop your thoughts on the comment section. Like this video and share it. And don't forget to subscribe as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.